Jody here, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about something I haven't talked on my channel about in quite some time, which is theater, more specifically Smash on Broadway. So Smash on Broadway recently opened. In case you're not aware, Smash on Broadway is a stage adaptation of the television series of the same name, Smash, that ran on NBC from 2012 to 2013. Now, for about 20 years, I was seeing Broadway shows on a pretty regular basis, so when the time this show was actually on television, I was still in the midst of seeing shows on a regular basis. And had the show come to Broadway around that time, or even many years later, I would have seen it. But I kind of don't see shows anymore. It's just not something I do anymore. Life changes. You gotta go with the changes, and that's kind of what happened. So when it comes to new Broadway musicals and new Broadway plays or whatever, I tend to avoid watching clips or hearing reviews or watching when they may perform on television series, like on, morning shows, just because I know I'm not going to get to see them. So if something looks really good, I don't want to know about it because I'm not going to go. That's just how it is now. And so when it came to Smash, I was like super happy that they were coming to Broadway, but also really annoyed because it's like, what took you so long? It's been over a decade. Like at this point, I didn't think that it was actually going to happen, but sure enough, here we are, and it happened. If you're not familiar with Smash, it's basically about the making of a Broadway musical from scratch, from casting to writing the score and writing the script, out-of-town tryouts, finding Broadway theater, going through the preview process, and then finally opening. And within the TV show Smash, it's all also about all the backstage drama that ensues during the time of them putting the show together. So I absolutely love the show, such a fan of the show and the story. And when I heard it was coming to Broadway, it was very kind of hush hush about what the story was going to be about. So I wasn't sure if the story was going to be about the Bombshell musical, about them making the Marilyn Monroe musical that is made within the musical Smash, or if it would be just a carbon copy of the television show. From my understanding, it's kind of neither of those things in a way. In a way it is, a way it isn't. From my understanding, the story is about the show is already on Broadway, and also that Ivy and Karen, they're not actually enemies in the Broadway musical. I don't know if they're friends, but it's not like it is on the television show where they're real rivals. So that's the difference. And then also another thing that I found out is that the way they decided to stage the musical numbers, for the most part, I don't believe every musical number is like this, but for the most part, the musical numbers are staged in a way where it's like in Smash they're putting a Broadway musical, or Broadway musicals on Broadway, I guess, in the show at this point, in the Smash musical. And they're just performing numbers from the show, they're putting on the show, and that's how they stage the numbers. They're not being sung from an emotional level. And I thought that was a really interesting way to go. Just hearing how they decided the direction that they decided to make the show in, I have to say it doesn't sound very good from someone who absolutely loved the show. I knew I wasn't going to get to see the show, but I still wanted the show to be amazing and be great and have its moment on Broadway finally. And to just hear how they decided to put the show together and the changes that they decided to make, I'm just really surprised that that's how they chose to do the show. But I haven't seen the show in a day. This is all from hearing a few reviews here and there. But yeah, I was just disappointed. I have to say I'm disappointed. I still wanted the show to be amazing, be great, because I love the show. I actually rewatched it a few years ago. And that's something I never do because, why would you rewatch a show unless you really like it? But yeah, just disappointing. I have to say, I put together my, list of shows I want to see that I know I'm not going to go to. But Smash, once it was on Broadway, that was the show I wanted to see. And the more I heard about it, and I actually got myself to watch a few clips of the show, and it doesn't look good. I have to say, it hurts me to say because I love who's in the cast. I am such a fan of the cast, but it just doesn't look good. If I was to finally go and make it my way to see a show, I wouldn't want to see that anymore. And that really hurts to say because I love the show, the television show, but I don't think I'd like the Broadway show, the way they decided to go about it. So Death Becomes Her is now back to being the number one show I would see if I somehow managed to see a show one of these days again. But yeah, just super disappointed because it has such a great cast that I don't know. I'm just disappointed. What can I say? And I just thought I'd make a video talking about it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes though. Maybe they'll get some Tony nominations. Who knows? Maybe they'll have a really long run. I hope so because everyone in the cast is absolutely amazing and I've seen them in other shows. So as long as they enjoy putting the show on, that's really all that matters. But I just from a perspective of someone who really loved the show, I just was disappointed to hear the direction the show went in as far as staging the musical numbers and changing the story. It just feels like it wouldn't work as well. But that's just me and my thoughts. And take everything I say with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, I haven't seen the show. Okay, until next time, bye.